Hello, today we are going to install PVS-Studio, which is a static code analyzer for the C and C++ programming languages, and we're going to use it in order to develop for the KDE community. So PVS-Studio, the official website is pvsstudio.com. Okay, and we have instructions on how to use PVS-Studio in conjunction with the KDE software. This is the procedure that I'm going to follow. So in order to use PVS-Studio, you need to use the evaluation trial, which is 7 days, 1 week. But if you're going to use a promo code, then you can have 30 days of evaluation, and we're going to use a promo code. You can either search on Google for YouTube Cherno PVS-Studio and get to this video. Okay, and then in the description, there's a use code Cherno and try out PVS-Studio for free. So this link. Okay. Now it says that we should select our operating system. I'm on Ubuntu 23.10, which is a Linux operating system. Next, I want the C and C++ downloads for PVS-Studio. Next. And what are these? What have I been using? TGZ. So let's go with TGZ. Download. Okay. Let's put it in the today's directory. Okay, I'm not sure why it says that I should request a trial key, because that's what I started with. Okay, so it puts in here the promo code, so CHERNO, Cherno. I do not want an enterprise license because this gives me additional features for, I don't know, Docker, DevOps, which I do not need. Continuous integration. Team license is more than enough for me. So let me put my email address. I'm going to receive the email, and inside of the email there will be two important pieces of data, which is a name and a license key. Okay, so I have entered my email address. It has sent me an email with 3 things. There's a name, a key, and I have a URL with additional instructions on how to install the product and to set up the license key, which is the part ways to activate a license key from the command line. And the command line is this one. Okay. Let's see how we install the product. So for these instructions on the KDE community wiki page, you go to kde.org, then to get involved, then ways to contribute, development, and in here we add easy. Go to C++, expand, and then there's more static analysis tools. One of these is PVS-Studio. So I've downloaded the file. The file looks like this. So today's directory. And we're going to extract this thing. Let's see if these actual instructions work. So it extracts the tar gzip to a directory named PVS-Studio. In there, there's one file which is actionable, which is install.sh, which is executable. It's a bash script. And I can immediately see prefix /usr/local prefix /usr. So we totally do not want to install in /usr because that's reserved for the deb packages from Kubuntu 23.10, which is my Linux operating system. I will not install to /usr/local because this thing is only used by one Linux user, so there's no need to install it system-wide. And then I can see that this prefix is important and it's also taken as the first parameter from the command line. So I install software per user in two places, either in .opt or in .local, depending if it's going to create subdirectories be09d9c4, lib, share, etc. Then it should go into ~.local. If it's going to create a subdirectory with the name of the software, like JetBrains, Toolbox, 204, etc., then it should go into ~.opt. So this is the place for PVS-Studio. I only have PVS-Studio in here. No, because I have the shared directory. Okay. Okay, I'm going to delete the parts which are 100% PVS-Studio. Okay. And then from the command line, I'm going to tell it in which directory it should install. So install.sh space ~/.local. So it puts three binaries executables here in ~.local/bin, and the path environment variable on Ubuntu and derived operating systems will have the directory ~.local.bin in the path environment variable if the directory ~.local/bin exists and you reboot the computer after you create the directory. So let's make sure that the environment variable path contains. And it does, so ~.local/bin. Okay, which PVS-Studio Analyzer finds it correctly. Okay, then I'm going to set the credentials. So again, the command line is PVS-Studio Analyzer. And just two parameters. The first one is the name that's given in the email from PVS-Studio, and the second is the license key. So I ran the command PVS-Studio Analyzer credentials, then name, then license, and it has written to the standard output to the console that license key is valid for 1 month. It's not of type not of type enterprise license, but of type team license. And in here is the configuration file containing the license configuration. Okay, next up, we need a shell script that will run correctly PVS-Studio the same way that kdesrc-build would compile a KDE Git repository, the same way this script will build and use PVS-Studio to do static analysis on the KDE Git repository. So this is a Git repository. Let's Git clone it. Okay. And we need to look inside of the file pvs-studio run.sh. So what it does, it computes some paths. So receives as parameter the full path to the source directory. So in tilde/kd/src, and then the name of the KDE Git repository, where kdesrc-build has git clone the KDE Git repository. And from that, from there it computes additional directories needed, and then kdesrc-build will git clones a Git repository such as keyconfig in here in tilde/kd/src/kconfig, and then kdesrc-build builds the module keyconfig in tilde/kd/build/keyconfig, but we're not going to reuse the build directory because that's for kdesrc-build, for cmake, for configure, for Ninja. And we're going to create a bit different configuration files which are specific for PVS-Studio. For that, we're going to not use the directory tilde/kd/build, but the directory tilde/kd/build -pvs. So this directory. Okay, so first it deletes from tilde/kd/build -pvs the directory keyconfig. Then it creates that directory. Then it changes to that directory. It sets the same environment variables as the ones that kdesrc-build sets before actually calling the cmake configure step. Then we're going to use the same cmake configure command line as the one from kdesrc-build. And then these parts are special. So this is the way the PVS-Studio actually does its work. After you do the step cmake configure, then you invoke your command line. In our case, it's going to be probably ninja -j. And then you wrap that thing in this thing, which is PVS-Studio Analyzer Trace. And then you run the actual converter of the analysis result to this pvs-studio.log file. But then we're going to convert the pvs-studio.log file to the file report.tasks, which is a file that can be opened up in the integrated development environment Qt Creator. Okay, so let's see what are the next steps. So we did this part. Now we'll need to use kdesrc-build, look at the full debug output of kdesrc-build, and fetch from there these lines and this line and whatever the PVS-Studio Analyzer should trace. So this part. Okay. So this is the way I have set up kdesrc-build. It uses Qt6, which is the default for kdesrc-build, and kdesrc-build executable is not part of my path environment variable, so I need to change into this directory first. Let's open a terminal. And first we're going to build kconfig because we want the git operations to take place. It's also compiling it, okay? But we want a very complete debug output generated by kdesrc-build and its subprocesses, such that we can look at the configure step. So this is the configure step. In here, where it says that the following features have been disabled, the following required packages have been found. So this is the output from CMake configure, and from there we need these parts. So where kdesrc-build sets environment variables. Okay, put it in a new Kate. And also we need the CMake configure command line, which is this thing. And the directory that it changes to is this one. Don't press Ctrl-C, press Ctrl-Shift-C. Ctrl-C stops the current shell process, terminal process. Okay, so right-click, copy is Ctrl-Shift-C. Okay, so back to the instructions. It says that we should copy this part, running cmake cd, run logged, setting environment variable, and then the part where it starts cmake, so it provides the full command line with which it starts cmake. And we need to convert that thing to these export lines and the cmake line. Okay, so let's put these two side by side. So this part export is actually this part. We can do some replaces to make it easier to see what's the difference between the left file and the right file. So Ctrl R, Tab, Ctrl V, replace all. And then this two is actually a equal sign. Okay, and then this space should be replaced with nothing. Okay, so we have this list and this list. So let's see if the lists are in the same order. No, they're not. The big thing that we should look for here is that the kdesrc, the directory ~/KDE is in fact this environment variable. So this directory is in fact this thing. Replace all. Okay. What else? There's this JetBrains thing, which I'm going to remove. this part. Okay, and that's about it. This block of functions to export of environment variables to export if they are not being repeated. So LD library pass, CMake prefix pass, CMake module, package config, XDG, and Qt. No. I'm going to copy them as they are in here. And then this command line. So this is an array, whereas this is a string. So we need to replace all of the single quotes with nothing. That should be okay. So replace all. And then this is a single command line parameter. So this one we can, for instance, escape the spaces. And the rest is okay. Control V. And then we also need this part, which we didn't copy yet. So let's go back to the output. So after it does the CMake configure step, this one, the next step is where it compiles source code, and the command line to compile source code is this one, ninja -j16. So I guess that press Ctrl C again. Don't do that. Right click, copy. So ninja -j and proc is the same thing as in ninja -j16. Okay, this line do not change it. This line do not change it. And then at the end, Kate, the text editor, will start with this file open, such that we can see the results. So this should be it. Okay. Okay, so it says that we should put this file into this place. So cp PVS-Studio to KDE directory. Okay, so it appears in here. Should be executable. It is. Great. I do not need to do chmod, but I can. Does not matter. Okay. And then this is the command line that I want to run. I have run kdesrc-build keyconfig. It has created the correct directories for keyconfig. So ~kd/src/keyconfig. In there it has git cloned the git repository. So the source code is correct for the KDE git repository keyconfig, and we can use it. Okay. Let's open a console in here. So PVS-Studio run, and then the full path to the git clone, the directory where we git clone the KDE git repository keyconfig. Okay, let's see that CMake configure was successful, and it was. It has found Qt6, which means that the correct environment variables have been set, because I have installed Qt6 from the Qt online installer into this directory. Okay, it has generated the correct Ninja files, and then it has started Ninja -j16, but enveloped in a PVS-Studio Analyzer trace process. Okay, so this PVS-Studio Analyzer trace monitors whatever Ninja -j16 does. Okay, so this is building. The next step is this one on line 30, analyzing. So it's PVS-Studio analyzer analyze -J16 for speed to use multiple CPU threads. Okay, this is to not show a warning that the license will expire in 30 days, and then it will create a file pvsstudio.log, and we will ignore this file pvsstudio.log because we will convert that file to a better format, which is this report.tasks file, which is just a tab separated table. On the first column there's a the full path to the file, then the line number, and then I don't know, issue type, issue level, error or warning, and then the text of the issue found by PVS-Studio. This thing we might use, for instance, we can print it to the console. Like, oh, no. And then we can click on it and it will open the text editor kit. But for that we need to set and configure console. So from the console main menu, help, not help, settings, configure console. Where is that thing? Close tab on middle click, yes. And it's part of the profile. So we need to create a new profile. We'll keep all of the defaults in there. And at mouse, miscellaneous, open file links by direct click, no, underline files. Yeah, so that should be it. And we'll make the profile as default. Okay, let's reopen console. So echo, and then parts of the file. And now we can control click to open Kate, not at the correct line, but at least in the correct file. And then we can go control G to go to the correct line. So line 8. There's a problem. Not all members of a class are initialized inside of the constructor. So this is a I'm not sure how to read this thing. I totally can read it better in a integrated development environment such as Qt Creator. Okay, so let's see what it says next. It says that after we fix the issue in the source code of kconfig, we'll need to make sure that kconfig builds correctly. So that's kdesrc-build, --no src, --refresh build, --debug, --no include dependencies. If that builds correctly, then we're going to run PVS-Studio run.sh ~kd/src/kconfig again to make sure that the issue was fixed. And because I will use Qt Creator to actually look at some of the issues, let's do that now. Okay, so says that I should open the KDE git repository ~kd/src/kconfig as per the instructions on how to open a KDE git repository that was built using kdesrc-build in Qt Creator The instructions are here. Okay. And I'll try to do the instructions. Let's follow actually. Okay, so it says that I should have put inside of kdesrc-build rc the cmake options, the cmake build type debug if I want to use a debugger. Okay. Then to build the repository that I want to open in Qt Creator using kdesrc-build, which I did. And then I'm going to open the cmake lists.txt file from the git clone. So file, open file or project, paste cmake lists.txt. Okay. So projects, manage kits. There's only the toolchain that I want. Import existing build. And I go paste and replace src with build. Okay. So it says switch to projects view, which is this thing, switch to projects mode control 5. And then active projects should be kconfig in my case. It has created a build configuration, debug2. Seems I have already had the debug2, so it needs to create to increment and create a debug3. Okay, so these environment variables need to be set. If you're using a KDE Git repository that uses QML, Qt Qt plugins, KIO, system settings, the Akonadi from PIM, etc. Okay, but in this case, because this is a simpler Git repository and LD library path does not need to be set because we are building with our path, I will skip this step, but you should totally not skip it. Okay, and then the integrated development environment Qt Creator has already run the cmake step. We can see it in the right hand side in here in right sidebar Alt-Shift-0. You can see that it has generated the Ninja files and it was successful and it has found the correct Qt version. I could rerun the cmake configure step if I want, which is this thing. Okay, then I can build, which is this button, or build and then this build project config control B. I need to look inside of this button to make sure that we're using the newest debug build configuration, which is debug 3. And then I need to select an entry point, an executable that should be run if I want to use the debugger. Okay, so that's about it. I have loaded correctly the KDE Git repository config inside of the integrated development environment Qt Creator. The next step is to load the report.tasks file, which was created by PVS-Studio inside of Qt Creator. So where is that file? inside of the ~kd/build PVS. So there's a separate directory for PVS, ~kd/build PVS. We have already only run PVS-Studio on the KDE Git repository keyconfig, so there's just one directory here, keyconfig. The report file is this one, report.tasks. I can go Ctrl+C, or I already have it open in Kate, so I can go right click on the tab and copy location, and then file, open file or project, Ctrl+V, enter. Okay. Then I need to open the issues, which is Alt+1 tool window. In here we will only have issues of type PVS-Studio, so the ones with identifier uppercase V and then 3 digits. Okay, let's see what type of issues can we find in here. So these are many, where it says that I have a C++ class. I have initialized some class members, so some instance data, member variables, but not all of them. Let's go to definition. So test 3a is a key config skeleton. The members are usually at the end of the type signature in here. So it says that autosave, which is a bool, was not initialized yet, and blob was also not initialized. So these, which are value, simple, idiomatic C++, and C type, so bool and int. Okay, I will ignore these because it's easy to do the fix. You just also initialize the age, like so. Where are you? Age, and then this is what, an integer. Yes. And then you do a git commit and a merge request for this one. But as this git commit message, make sure to have something which says fix, not fixed, because you don't know if the issue is actually fixed. So you're fixing, fix issue PVS-Studio, and then you copy paste the exact text. Your username is not important, so just keep, I know, this thing from auto tests. Okay, so this should be part of the git commit message, and parts of this thing should be the git commit title. Okay, let's see what is this thing. So it says that your allocated memory, then you're not using the allocated memory, and then you're deleting the allocated memory. Let's see what this thing is about. So go right click and get help online. Says that so it takes you to the correct wiki page, to the correct web page, which is the documentation from PVS-Studio about this issue uppercase V799, with description. And the description says that it's not really a performance issue, but it's the fact that you're doing new and then delete. Maybe you have typed incorrectly. So like in this example, it says that the developer meant to write an uppercase C on this line, where the developer has written B again. So it's a type of issue where it asks you as a developer, have you been careful when you wrote this part of the source code? Were you being meticulous? Did you do an extra copy paste, or did you forget to replace a variable name? Okay, but luckily we can fix this thing by not using C++ new keyword, but actually allocating the object on the stack in double quotes. So for that, let's see how we do allocation on the stack. C++ create object without new. So we could use this format where we put in front the type. We remove the asterisk, so we're not working with pointers anymore. And then we remove the new C++ keyword. And that fixes the issue. Well, we cannot delete, so let's actually delete this thing. So it allocates an object of the type test enums and properties. Hopefully this is a class. And it is on the stack. And when the scope exits, the stack memory will be freed. Okay. And it's also a good practice to not use new C++ keyword needlessly. Okay, so that's a way to fix it. But then we have this issue. So this is just from PVS-Studio. Okay. Another way to do it is to use a syntax like this. Where are you? A syntax like this. So you have the type name, the identifier of the object, like this. But this raises a issue from clang-d, where it says that empty parentheses can be interpreted as a function declaration or as a instantiating a variable of the class type test enums and properties. This is the MVE most vexing. Let's see how we can find more data. Let's search this thing. Control V. Let's go clang-d. Most vexing parse. How to spot it and fix it quickly. So this can be interpreted as a function declaration. Okay, so the way to fix it is to change line 13 to something that's not ambiguous, that cannot be interpreted as a function declaration. So we're not giving the chance to the compiler to choose between two different possibilities. And the way that I have chosen to fix this issue is to actually use this syntax. So type name identifier equals type name, and then in parentheses the parameters to the constructor. Okay. And this again, if you want to propose it as a git commit and as a merge request, use the same format as the one above. Okay, and we know that it's about the KDE git repository key config because we're going to create a git commit towards this KDE git repository. So this would be the git commit message. And then as title, I use the following convention, where, which is the name of the CPP file or the H file or the directory if I edit more than one CPP file from the same directory. And then what I did in there, without, so titles don't end with a dot, but the rest of the git commit message is made out of sentences that end with a dot. So this is the way it would look like, and I actually did propose this merge request, and I'm going to show you how it looks like. So in Google I wrote KDE invent kconfig, takes me to the Git repository of kconfig. I am logged in as with my user, and now I can go to my fork. I can look at the merge requests. And the merge request by me is this thing. Kconfig compiler, which is the directory where these issues happened. So there were more than one in this directory. I fixed several of them, and then as git config as git merge request title and as git commit title, I used these tags kconfig, so where compiler fix PVS-Studio issue v799. There's just one git commit. I fixed the issue in, 20 files using the same pattern. So I'm not using new, I'm not using pointer, I'm not using delete. So I'm not using the heap, I'm using the stack. Okay. The merge request was not merged yet. Merge requests can take some time until they are merged. So this is it. This was how to install and configure the static code analyzer PVS-Studio. We've installed it. We're using a 30-day evaluation. We're following this procedure, community.kdE.org/get-involved/development/easy. Okay, we have a promo code. We have downloaded and installed using these lines, these command lines. Then we have requested a license, a evaluation, 30 days license key. We've received that via email instantly. We have registered the license key. Then we have built a random KDE Git repository using kdesrc-build. We're looking at the full output of kdesrc-build to know how to edit the script file that we use in order to run PVS-Studio, because we will need to use the correct environment variables before configure the correct environment variables in the terminal before running cmake, because otherwise cmake configure will fail. And then these environment variables are also needed by the next steps in the shell script that we're using to run PVS-Studio. Okay. The shell script was saved in the directory tilde/kde/pvs-studio run.sh. Again, it sets environment variables, run cmake configure, so this thing is identical to whatever kdesrc-build does. And then we're running ninja -j and proc, which is the same thing as kdesrc-build. Okay, and the rest of the script was taken from my Git repository, which is where? This thing. Okay, so with this script, once you build a KDE Git repository, it doesn't matter which, you go kdesrc-build, I don't know, kcalc or kconfig or I don't know, something, a Git repository. After you build it successfully, then you immediately can go pvs-studio run.sh and then the full path to the directory where kdesrc-build has git cloned that KDE Git repository. And the end result will be a report tasks file, which is a simple plain text file, which is going to be opened in Kate automatically. And then if you want to open this file to act on it, to actually fix issues, I recommend that you do that inside of the integrated development Qt creator, which when you set up kdesrc-build and start to program for KDE for the first time, I totally recommend you that you use for a number of weeks this integrated development environment Qt creator, because this has the best support for Qt, for KDE, for kdesrc-build. Do learn how to use Qt creator correctly together with kdesrc-build. Then, after you master Qt creator, you've used it for a number of weeks, you can switch to something else, but I suggest that you should master the combination Qt creator plus kdesrc-build. Okay, so that is it. After you fix an issue found by PVS-Studio you do git commit and merge request. If no easy issue, you cannot find any of this issue easy enough for you, not a problem. It's really, really fast to just build another KDE Git repository and run PVS-Studio on it. But this time you do not need the longer command line, so no src, no include dependencies, debug, etc. So you can go, let's get a random KDE Git repository. src kauth. So this is a KDE framework, version 6, has few dependencies. So after you go kdesrc-build kuth, the next step is to run PVS-Studio on it with a command line like this. I have another console open for that. Which I cannot find right now. Okay, so I need to be in this directory. Ctrl-Shift-T, and I should be in tilde/kd, okay? Paste, and not kcalc, but kauth. And don't forget the // because PVS-Studio run is in this directory, in tilde/kd, not in the path environment variable, not in any of the directories that are part of the path environment variables. Okay. It says that it cannot delete the directory build PVS, probably because of this, or because of this. Says that there's no user. Oh, wrong pasting here. We can use tilde. Okay, so CMake was worked correctly. Now we're at the Ninja step where it builds the software, so converts CPP files into .o files and then links them and creates the final build artifacts, the .so files, etc. All of this happens inside of the directory tilde/kd/build-pvs, such that it doesn't mess your tilde/kd/build. So you'll be able to continue building using kdesrc-build without messing the installation of kdesrc-build. Okay, it has finished building. Now it generates the first report file, and then it will generate the second one, which we will use, report.tasks, which files with extension tasks with that format can be loaded by Qt Creator inside of the issues tool window. Okay, so let's open KUTH. How do we do that? Qt Creator, src-kuth, file, open a file or project, Ctrl-V, cmake list.txt, import existing build, Ctrl-V, and then instead of src should be build. CMake configure has worked. The next step is to open the report.tasks file. So right click on the tab, copy location, file, open file or project, Ctrl-V, enter, and click on the issues Alt-1 tool window to expand it. I'm not sure what's in here, so we'll probably need to clear first. So this button to clear the list of issues in the issues tool window. File, open, Ctrl-V. It's identical to the previous list. I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong. So this is the kconfig, results from kconfig, but KEUTH uses kconfig. It's the same issues. Okay, so that's the way you do it. You open report.tasks in the ID integrated development environment Qt Creator after you open in Qt Creator the correct Git repository. So you'll have a full integrated development environment working on the KDE Git repository KUTH, and additionally you have inside of the issues tool window issues generated by PVS-Studio. So this is it. Good luck. Thank you.